Hey, what's up guys? It's Joe here again. I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to use the mirror modifier and disconnect parent bones so we can enable our armatures to have a little more unique of a movement animation. So let's go ahead and start by getting rid of this cube. And this time I'll actually turn on screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing down here in the corner. Hit Shift A, go to Add Mesh, and start with a cylinder. Let's bring this cylinder up. Actually, no, let's delete that. Let's bring down the face count on that cylinder as well. Let's bring it down to like a 16. Let's bring it up, focus. Let's go into edit mode, and let's make it a little longer. And let's do Control R for a loop cut. And if you hold Control down and mouse wheel up, actually not have Control down, you can just mouse wheel up, and you can set how many loop cuts you want to give it for new dimensions. So let's just go out there, right click to set it at its origin point. Let's go here and let's go to see-through mode. Let's go grab all the tops, Alt M, and merge them at center. And bottom will do the same, Alt M at center. Now let's grab this top and this bottom. We'll move these guys a little closer to their respective positions, and let's pull them in. Let's do that again. Pull down a little bit. It's gonna kind of look like a barrel. It's gonna be really basic, fast created mesh. So let's bring this up. The shoulders, bring them in a little bit also. And go down here and grab the same. Do it again. Bring him into about there. Let's grab him. This will be like his belly region or whatever. Make it a little bit. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Got some very basic form to it. We can make his top a little bit in. And cool. Now let's go. Oh, one thing also I'm going to show you guys I didn't show you last time was when you're in object mode, you can set the different types you're viewing at, different viewing angles by hitting Control 7. And this will turn you into ortho mode. It stands for orthographic. You'll recognize it by having it up here. And this will give you kind of a two-dimensional look on whatever angle you're going at. And you can toggle between orthographic and perspective mode by hitting Control 7, which is nice. Perspective is a little bit easier to work in sometimes. I mean, ortho is also great. It all just depends on what you're using. They're both very useful. And then we can hit Control 1, which will go. Oh, sorry, we need to be in object mode. In object mode, you can hit Control 1, and that'll give you the front perspective, or if you're in orthographic mode, the front ortho mode. And that just gives you the front of the object. We'll snap to it. So on and so forth. And you have these different control modes, like back ortho will give you Control 2 if you're in orthographic mode, left, all the different control buttons, which is nice. But anyway, so let's go back to Control 1, and now let's set the guys. Actually, let's go to Control 3, and let's go left. And let's give him some a front, right? Actually, no, it's gonna be so basic. We don't even need to do that. Cool. Now that we have the basic outline for our guy, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna copy the object. See how it's copied into a new one here, and then we're going to add modifier mirror to that object. And then we're gonna go into its edit mode, grab all its verts, and move it out. And now see how we have a mirror of that copied mode. Now from there, we can scale it. We're basically just gonna make two really basic arms. And let's make it a little bit longer. Right, now we can spin that around. And mirrors mode is nice because it just copies everything you're doing along the x-axis. Now let's bring them in here for arms. It's best to put the arms straight out, especially since we're going to be animating them and adding bones and whatnot. Now we can go into these guys as an object altogether, and we can copy them from object mode. And now we'll be able to make two legs. Since it already has this mirror mode applied up here, see how it has mirror modifier over here on the side? Then we can take that, and since we're copying it, this new object will have it as well. Now let's take it and let's grab the individual item and let's spin it. Let's actually make it flat, straight up and down. Let's give it a little more girth. Make it a little shorter. I can pull it in, down, rotate it a little bit there. Alright, that's not bad. Now you'll notice that these objects are all not, they're not connected at all. We'll be connecting them in a minute, but we're going to make a head first. Okay, now same thing though, we can grab this guy. Since he doesn't have the mirror modifier, let's use the body to make the head, which will be really easy. We'll grab these top birds and we'll move them down. And make the object as a whole a little bit smaller. Like that. Cool. Now let's go ahead and supply these mirror modifiers, because they don't actually, you have to actually apply them for them to really account. See, now once they're applied, now I can manipulate the verts of this object that was now mirrored, versus this one that's not applied. I can't move any of the verts until I hit apply, and I can get them both. Now that those are all nice and good, we can grab each individual item by holding shift, and we can group them all together, and make sure that the one that has the yellow highlight, that's going to be your parent object. Now we can go and hit Control J, and that'll join them all together. And now when we go into edit mode, we can have all the verts nicely together. That's one. Okay, so now let's animate it. So we're going to go to Shift A or Add down here. Armature, single bone. Pop that right up there. Go into the Armature tab up here. Let's go to X-ray on that bones group. And now we can go into here. Let's zoom in on it actually. Let's focus. Alright. Now we can go to edit mode of the bone. And we're gonna hit. Oh, okay, so last time the mirror mode was not working for our bones. And I figured out why, because when we were hitting Alt X, which is the extrude hotkey, it's extruding the individual, or the bone as a whole. Now what we need to do is hit Alt Shift X, which is a different keybind. Once we have this Options X-ray Axis Mirror tabbed over in the Options tab, we got to click that checkbox. And then if we go Alt Shift X, that'll extrude the individual object, and that'll give us both what we need. So let's go ahead and grab the original bone that we extruded out, and we can go to Alt P, which is clearing the parent, and we can go to disconnect the bone, which will actually keep the parent object, so it's sort of misleading there, but it'll disconnect the bone, which is what we want. So when we go into edit mode or into pose mode, this will be a parent object, and these will still, everything will move based off of its parent object. So we can do the same thing and go to Alt Shift X, and we can extrude it. Sorry, we can extrude it. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that correctly. Alt Shift X, and we just pull it out to the side. We're going to pull these down a little bit, because these are going to be our legs. Alt P, disconnect bone, pull it down, bring it over to the side. We're going to rotate it just a little bit. Oh, also when rotating, you have this little button down here, which allows you to set the pivot points, which is really nicely. It's really nice for doing certain things like this. So, for example, it's on active element, which is giving it the active element between the two objects, which is actually, I think, the parent object. So it's rotating kind of oddly around the parent. So what you can do is you can change this right to individual origins, and now when you rotate it, it'll rotate the bones on them around the actual individual origin, which is super nice. So let's go back to our original parent bone. We're going to go take off the x-axis mirror, and then we're going to just do a simple Alt-X to extrude. And we're going to pull this bone up. We're going to hit Alt-P and disconnect that bone. We're going to move it right up into the head. Resize it a little bit. And now we don't need any extra bones, which is nice. I mean, granted, this is really simple mesh, right? And you can really only do super simple animations with it, but at least you don't need an extravagant amount of bones. So we're going to connect the bone just like we did last time. Make sure that the bone is set as the parent, so the bone has to have the yellow outline. And we're going to go down here and hit P to set parent, and we're going to set it with automatic weights. Let's go ahead and click that there. Now if we go into the bone itself, we can go into pose mode, and then we can move it around. We can make it wave at people. We can make it rock out, right? Like all we did things last time. We can rotate that, whatever. And that's the nice thing about having this parent bone. All the other bones will also move along with this one parent bone at the whole time. So I'm not actually going to go in. Oh, okay. I'll show a real basic animation, so for the sake of having a nice and short video. So make sure we have the record button hit. Let's go and pull up this timeline tab, just so we can only have the play and reverse buttons. And let's change this to the dope sheet. And now let's go ahead and grab the bones, and we'll animate them a little bit. So make sure the record button's on, right? This little red thing has to be enabled. And we can pull these guys down, and let's make sure all the bones are also moved, at least once, to kind of stretch them out. Right? Okay, and now since it'll be a really simple model, we can go into, let's zoom in, way in on our, just scroll wheel in on our dope sheet, and now we can set frames a little easier. Let's go up to the 20th frame, and let's start our walk animation there. So, right, so let's pull in his arms a little bit, since they don't need to be all out super far like that. Okay, let's get his legs sort of symmetrical. We can pull them in as well. Alright, now let's just make him walk. Let's just be a stance. We'll make him sad again, because he hasn't got anything going on. Let's go up to the 40 frame, and now let's just really basic walk here. And we can go to the 50th frame. We'll even it. Let's go to the 60th frame. You can hold Alt and scroll wheel, which will give you a control of your dope sheet down here, which also comes in not so handy when you accidentally try to scroll out while holding Alt on accident. It'll happen, trust me. Okay, and let's give it, oh, what did we start with? Okay, we started left arm forward. So let's finish, then left arm back. Alright, and now we can go in, we can copy this frame, Control D to copy it, move it to the half mark. I don't know, we're not zoomed in far enough to really see. We can zoom way in though. I mean, you can zoom in literally to the individual frame, which is rarely needed, but sometimes you can. You can move this just by hitting W. You can move it there. And let's copy this frame. Alright, now let's give me the world's slowest walk animation. Here we go. Right. Super basic, but he walks. He's moving around. Trying to make it look like he knows what he's doing. We can just tighten it up by doing a few very small little things. One thing we can do is we can just move the head up. Give it a little head bob. Kind of looks like he's actually moving a little bit more now. Oh, but also you want to always make sure that your final frame, when you're going to do a looping frame, is the same as your original frame. So let's bring that back up to here. And really, let's make it twice the speed. So let's just go every 5 frames. Actually, I don't need to zoom that far. Okay. Alright, now he's going to walk kind of fast, but that's okay. He's in a hurry to get somewhere. Cool. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. That's all I'm going to do for right now. My other video, I showed you how to import your mesh and actually call these animations and get them to walk around, and we made a very simple character control for it, which was cool. So check that video out. Unfortunately, you need to have a little bit of Unity experience to know how to set it up, because the stream video got set on the mono-develop IDE, so all you see is the code, and it doesn't really do much help. But on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, which is the 5th, I guess, we will be really going over how to make a character controller, and we'll get that all set up, and it'll be really cool and super fun. But for now, we can import this guy because the other mesh we made had a little bit of weird errors, and some of its vector 3s weren't connecting properly. So, I mean vectors. Sorry, they weren't connecting properly. So yeah, I suggest we'll probably just use this mesh for now. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys may have learned something, or at least seen how to make a very basic, kind of pretty crappy guy. Alright, thanks.